Hello, Pickled Onion Knight here and welcome to another pickups video. Now, this is for June 2019 and I haven't done a pickups video since September 2018, so there's going to be a lot of stuff to get through. Three things I want to mention just before I start is that number one, it is the hottest day of the year so far. I mean, it's only 28 degrees, but it's something like 90% humidity. It is absolutely baking in here tonight, and I'm hoping I get through all of it in one sitting, but I might not. I might have to sort of jump cut as I stop in the middle, have a little breather, and then start again. Secondly, there is a cat here, Jasmine the cat, just out of shot. So if you hear a jingling noise, or something jumps up in front of the camera, or God forbid is sick everywhere or something like that, then that's what that is. And again, that will involve a jump cut, but something I might well put in an outtakes video in the future. And thirdly, not everything that I've bought is actually here, because I'm in the process of organising stuff, and stuff isn't necessarily where it should be at the moment. A lot of stuff is somewhere else and not actually in the building. So stuff, I'm sort of moving stuff around and trying to organise stuff better, if you like. But in the process of doing that, some stuff that I picked up around the Christmas period isn't here, so I can tell you about it. I just can't show you it. Most of the stuff is here, but some stuff isn't. So there might be some stuff I mentioned that I don't actually have to hand. Yeah, and I think, well, if that's it, then I'll get on with it. Cue that title card thing. Right, so normally when I do these videos, I group them into sort of, how should I put it, sort of where I got things from. So like if there's been a lot of eBay purchases, I'll normally group them together. If there's been a lot of charity shop purchases, I'll normally group them together. The sort of limited run stuff, when I buy it, I normally group them together. But because, like I say, I'm trying to organise stuff this time as I go, I'm going to group them probably by console, unless there's something silly. So, with that in mind, I'm going to try doing it this way, and we'll see how we get on. So, yeah, I mean, I can't think of a better way to do it for this one. So, a lot of you may know, certainly if you've watched the video you'll know, that I recently purchased a TurboGrafx 16, or, well, not a TurboGrafx 16, just a TurboGrafx, because it's the PAL version. It doesn't say TurboGrafx 16, but all the games for it are, because the only games that work on it are the US versions. There is no European game set for the TurboGrafx. You play the US games, or North American games, I should say, because Canada got it as well. So you play the North American games, or you don't play it. But most of these games are relatively expensive, but hopefully I didn't pay over the asking odds for any of them. Some of them I may have done, some not, I'm not sure. Because there's no real sort of, I mean, there's price charting, but a lot of that is in US dollars or Canadian dollars, and by the time you've figured out what that should be in pounds, bearing in mind you're dealing with two other currencies, because because it is a North American game set, nobody is price charting these things in pounds, so it's very difficult to tell what things should be at, because it's down to currency fluctuations and things like that as well. So let's just get on with showing what I've bought in. So let's try and get these in order. So Alien Crush, I got this for the TurboGrafx 16. And it's not in bad condition. Obviously it's missing the cardboard sleeve, but that's the only thing it's missing. The little thing that holds the game in place is still intact, and I paid £25 for Alien Crush Pinball. which probably isn't an amazing deal, seeing as though there's a sticker for $20 on here. But in saying that, depending on what state that was sold in, that might incur a $3 sales tax. So I don't know, $23 maybe somebody originally paid for that. But it, you know, like I said, oh, and this one here says $16.99. A game and trade, but it doesn't say where. So yeah, 25 pounds for that. Blazing Lasers, exactly the same, ditto. 25 pounds I paid for that, and you can see it's all in here. Original sleeve, blah blah blah. No stickers on this one. Yeah. So and I have actually tried all these out, and they all work, so that's fine. Most of them I haven't played very much of, but they do all work. So what was the next? TurboGrafx, right? Okay, Final Lap Twin was another one I got, and that was, I've lost it. There you are. That was £20, and again, still all in the card and the wallets here, but again missing the cardboard sleeve, which is fine because you know that's standard with a lot of these games. This was from a Game Exchange sticker here for $4.95, but yeah, I paid 20 for that. World Class Baseball on the TurboGrafx, again, cards in really good nick. Some of these cards I have cleaned them, because these sleeves, for some reason, if they're left sitting for a while, they do seem to get a bit sticky. That must be something to do with the type of plastic they are, but they do go a bit, not sticky exactly, but tacky maybe. So most of these have been cleaned, because not all of them were in great nick. Sorry, what did I pay for World Class Baseball? $14.99. So that's not too bad. It's a baseball game, but there is a crack in the case here. But I mean, it's a standard CD case, so I could, you know, if I take this piece out, I can just replace that with a standard CD case. And well, I suppose actually no, you can't, because this thing on the side is a sticker, so that would be a real pain to try and get that off and then put it on a new case. So I probably won't bother. Although to be fair, these plastic pieces do, so I could conceivably just replace the front cover and nobody would be any the wiser, so that would probably be fine. So I got a card only game, and that's only because I particularly wanted to play this one. JJ and Jeff on the TurboGrafx, and I think I actually paid quite a lot for that because I really did want this one. I can't find where it is because I've got everything written down here, but not in any semblance of order, in the order that I bought it. So I have to have a look and see. Where is it? Bear with me. Ah, no, there it is. Okay, $12.50 I paid for that. So again, this is one that normally goes for more than that, just like if it was in the CD jewel case, but you know, card only. Yeah, $12.50. So that's not too bad. Now, Davis Cup Tennis on the TurboGrafx, and as you can see, ooh, this is in the box. And if I open the box, I paid $12.50 for that. So the same price I paid for a card-only JJ and Jeff, I got a Davis Cup Tennis. And yep, this is it's a bit like, oh look, even got a little, I don't know what that is, like a warranty card or something. Oh, a guarantee card. So there you are. Yeah. And this is obviously a Canadian one because it's in English and in French. Yeah. Oh, or is this just in French? Hang on. This will be. Huh. This is all in French. So that's interesting. And the address on this is NEC Canada Incorporated, so that makes sense. But I mean, surely Canada's bilingual, isn't it? Unless, I don't know. Well, there you are. Maybe somebody in Canada can answer why that is. I assumed. See, the box is in English. There's no. In fact, there's no French at all in the book, unless this just says roughly what it says here. But yeah, that's an odd one. Anyway, getting off point. So there's a little. I don't know if you'll be able to see it there. There's a little. What do you call that? Polystyrene insert in here. I don't want to get it out because I might break it, and there's actually a bit of it falling off. There's a little polystyrene insert in here, like there is in a Nintendo case. Much the same thing, but this is pretty much brand new. Although this here sleeve appears to be a replacement one because it's not like the other ones. It's a different kind of plastic. So this is probably a replacement sleeve, although I don't know because I don't know what the original one should be like. But yeah, so. But in really good nick, and in the box, and yeah, $11.50 I paid for that. And another one that I got in the box, which is Falcon, and I paid £20 for that. But this is a weird one because if I open the cardboard box here, there is no jewel case for this one, and I don't know if that's a thing, but it basically comes in this little plastic case with an instruction book, and then there's a space here, in the plastic case, where the Hue card is. But the point is, this is another one that's come in what looks to me like a replacement sleeve, but maybe it's not. Honestly, I don't know enough about the US set to be able to determine one way or the other. But it looks like this has pretty much, but from the shape of this, it looks like this has pretty much sat in the box its entire life. In fact, it doesn't even look like it's been played. But it's a weird box because it doesn't have a jewel case. Like I say, it's just this plastic insert in the cardboard box. So I don't know if that's unique to this game or not. But I suppose that's the things when you're collecting things. You don't, every now and then, and in fact quite often it seems with the TurboGrafx lately, I've come across stuff that I had no idea was even a thing. I just assumed they all came in jewel cases. I didn't know anything about the cardboard boxes. I didn't know that this one and perhaps others don't come with a jewel case in the cardboard box. So yeah, it's one of them things. It's just everything I seem to get is a constant surprise. And I've just realised I've left something over there, which is part of this collection, so I'll just go and fetch it. So obviously, because I've bought a TurboGrafx, one of the aims that I've got now is to try and get extra controllers for it. Which, by the way, if you want the PAL controllers, is a nightmare. They literally don't exist. Anywhere. I cannot find any reference to them. I can't find anywhere. Basically, I can't find any reference to them ever being released as separate controllers. The only way you could get one, certainly the PAL that's branded as the PAL version, is to buy a TurboGrafx system, which obviously I don't really want another one. As I outlined in the previous video, the PAL system is not really the one to go for, even though it is quite rare. It's not the one you want. Luckily, the North American controllers work on the PAL system, but again, they're not easy to get hold of, although they were actually sold separately. So it is becoming a bit difficult. But what I did get, and I found two of these, is this, and that is the TurboGrafx TurboTap adapter. Now I have actually tested both of these that I bought. I've only brought one to show, and they both work well. I know at least port 1 works, because I've only got one controller, so that's how I had to test it, was basically with one controller. So I got 2 of these, one of which I paid £22 for, which I thought was a very good deal, and then another one that I won an auction for on eBay, which I got for £11.50, which I thought was an even better deal. So obviously I don't need 2 of them, so I'll probably be selling one at one point, but I have actually now got 2 of these, one of which either I paid over the odds for, the first one that I bought, or alternatively I just had a really lucky auction and got one for £11.50. And bearing in mind all these prices I quote are including delivery, so that's even better. So like none of these it's not £11.50 with delivery on top. That's what I paid for it all in. So yeah, that's all the TurboGrafx stuff that I've managed to get. So yeah, that's an end to that. Okay, so one quick jump cut later, and as I'm trying to arrange stuff to show off, I've realised I've still got some stuff from the last pickups video in the bag with this stuff, which I shouldn't have, but that's what's happened somewhere. So yeah, and unless I've got 2 copies of Mario All-Stars now. Oh no, I've just realised what I've done. No, this is supposed to be here. Yeah, no, because I bought these as a set. That's why. Right, so Super Famicom stuff. You may remember about a year ago I bought a Super Famicom with a load of games. Well, I've now added some of the... Well, I mean, there are really no heavy hitters with the Super Famicom, because everything's reasonably cheap. Some things are a bit out there, but most stuff that you actually want to play is reasonably cheap. So as a set of 4 games, this was on eBay, for £19.50 I got Super Mario World, with some Japanese writing in marker pen on the back, which is fine, because at some point in the future I'm intending on doing a video on how to deal with this sort of thing. So that's hopefully fine. What else did I get in that set? Super Mario All-Stars, Japanese obviously, again because it's for the Super Famicom. Super Mario Kart and Yoshi's Island. So that was all £19.50 for the 4, and again that's including delivery, and I'm pretty sure these did come from Japan, but I could be wrong. But one that definitely came from Japan was this one, which is Zelda 3, basically the Link to the Past, which again I'm planning on finishing the playthrough for, or finishing actually uploading the videos, because I finished the playthrough 2 years ago. I just didn't get around to narrating and uploading the videos, but it will happen. No, I haven't actually checked this yet, because I don't know why. I haven't got around to checking it. This was one of the last ones to turn up, and by that point I'd sort of put everything away and was rearranging, didn't actually get around to checking it. So I'm hoping the battery in this is still good. If not, then I can replace the batteries, so that's fine. So that might lead on to another video on how to do that. Unfortunately, I don't know how to replace the battery in one of these without killing any saves that are on there. I'm sure there must be a way to do it. I'm sure if I checked YouTube there'll be somebody that knows how to do that. But I know how to replace the battery in a cartridge, but I don't know how to do it without killing the saves that are on there. Because I don't know how to do it without losing power. So somebody will, but I don't. So if I do a video on that, then yeah, don't watch it if you've got saves you want to keep, because I don't know how to do that. But anyway, last, well, I suppose you could call it a Super Famicom thing, but it's technically not. If anyone remembers when, maybe last pickups video or the pickups before, it was a while ago, probably about a year ago now, I bought 10 Sufami Turbo adapters for the Super Famicom. I still have all 10. I kept meaning to sell 9 of them, but I never quite got round to doing it. But I've got my first Sufami Turbo game, which is I don't know what this is called. I'm sure I wrote it down because I'm sure SD Gundam Generation Ichinen. So a Gundam game, basically, which of the 13 games on the Sufami Turbo, I think maybe 8 or 9 of them are Gundam games. So that's no surprise there that they're the cheapest. I think there's something like 8 Gundam games. There's a Crayon something or other, a maze game. There's a couple of Sailor Moon games. I'm pretty sure there might be a Power Rangers game on there as well. I'm not entirely familiar with the library, but anyway, this was nice and cheap. This was £8.78, and again, that's including delivery from Japan. Oh, in case I didn't mention it, A Link to the Past was £4.79, including delivery from Japan, and actually is a little bit manky. Yeah, you can tell I haven't tested it because I haven't even cleaned it. You know, like the rest of the stuff that I have tested has at least been cleaned, if not deep cleaned, then at least sort of spot cleaned, so I don't get my equipment dirty. Right, so in another jump cut, there'll be a different stuff. Right, so on to the PlayStation 3. And there's some stuff in here which I'm very surprised that I didn't have. But a lot of these were just cheapies out of CEX and I think possibly a couple of charity shops as well, or maybe Game or somewhere. Anyway, right. So Uncharted 3, Drake's Deception, I was very, very surprised that I didn't have this already, but I didn't. And that was £1 from CEX, and it's in reasonably good condition. So Clive Barker's Jericho on the PS3. Again, that was £1 from CEX. Eat Lead, The Return of Matt Hazard. Not sure who Matt Hazard is, to be fair. Whatever game this is the sequel to, because I mean I presume it's a sequel because it says The Return of Matt Hazard. Whatever game this is a sequel to, I haven't played it, so I don't know who he is. But he looks pretty tough with those guns. Although to be fair, if you're on a battlefield and you're standing like that, you're likely to get shot first. So maybe he's a bit of a tit. Anyway, so yeah. That was £1 from CEX. Red Dead Redemption Undead Nightmare. No, this is something else I didn't even know existed until I found it in the shop, and I can only assume it's sort of cowboys and zombies. So that kind of makes sense that that's what that would be. I don't even see how much I paid for that. I can't find it on the list. What's it called? Red Dead Redemption. Ah, there it is. Oh, bloody hell. That's quite a lot I paid for that. From the British Heart Foundation, £3.99. I don't even know if that's a good price now, thinking about it, because everything else, all these other games I've got here, were about £1 or £2, and £3.99? That seems expensive now for a PlayStation 3 game. Huh. I need to start collecting cheaper consoles, that's what it is, or just go into places that price their games fairly. What are we? Dead Island Special Edition. Looks pretty good. Case is a little bit sticky. There's some sticker still stuck on the case. A lot of stick in that sentence. That was £1 from CEX. I obviously just picked every game on the shelf I could find that was £1. Dead Rising 2 off the record. Now I'm sure. I don't know if this is like a better version of Dead Rising 2 or it's like a DLC, not a DLC, but you know, like expanded content or whatever. I'll have to get Dead Rising 2 so I can tell, and I don't have that. But this was £1 at CEX as well. Call of Juarez, that was, oh, guess what? £1 at CEX. Now, I haven't heard good things about this game. As far as I'm aware, this is really, really broken to the point where the roads don't even work properly. So that might be fun to actually try out. But then again, it's by Ubisoft, so of course it's released out of the gate broken, because everything they release is. It's just a fact of Ubisoft and EA are just, no, everything you release is broken. And Activision, no. Although I think Activision are EA. But anyway, getting off point, yeah, £1. So if it is broken, I mean, who cares? Right, Blur! Blur, nothing to do with the band. This is a racing game, and it has the exclusive booster kit, which is probably a code. Although there's no code in here, so either, I mean, bearing in mind this was probably second-hand anyway, so either the code that was meant to be here is lost, or this is actually on the disc, which would be great. And that was $1.99 from Game, so that's fine. And Dark Souls, this is one that I couldn't believe I didn't have. In fact, I was pretty sure I did have until I checked, and I didn't have it. So now I have. Dark Souls on the PlayStation 3, $1.99. Now I think there is a special edition of this game that I'm probably not going to track down now that I've got this one. I don't see the point, because the likelihood of me actually playing this to completion is so unlikely that it's not even funny. The Fight, which is a PlayStation Move game, so hopefully I didn't pay too much for this, and in fact I can't even see it on the list. I paid 50p for that one from Echo, which is like a, well, not, yeah, I suppose it is a charity shop. So yeah, that's great. Nice stack of PlayStation 3 there. Okay, well, let's move on to something else. Oh, no, hang on, because... right, hang on, I've got lost somewhere. Somewhere along the line, it's all gone wrong. Right, no, I haven't got lost. I know exactly where I am. And bear with me. What time are we at now? 34 minutes. I might take a little break, because I am getting a little bit overheated. So I'm going to take a little 5-minute breather, and I'll come back, and it will be quick for you, but it will be 5 minutes for me. Right, so I've had my little breather, and like I say, it is very hot in here, so the shirt's off now. T-shirt only. Obviously, still trousers, but, what can you do? I can't risk anything slipping out while I'm filming. Right, so I'm going to do just a couple of odds and sods, so sort of stuff that I haven't bought a lot of one type of thing, just sort of odds and sods, filling in some gaps where they came along. So the first one is Captain Toad Treasure Tracker for the Wii U. Now... this is, aside from the fact that what I actually wanted when I bought this game was the Amiibo version, but can I find one anywhere? I mean, even every now and then one pops up for silly money on eBay, and I might even have bought it if it was the full Amiibo version, because I haven't really got that much interest in Amiibos, but I think if I'm going to go for a Wii U set, which I might, I'm still considering it, so I might do, but if I do, I would like to get the big boxes if possible, but this one came up, and I don't think it was a bad price, and bearing in mind that it is complete, as complete as Wii U games are, because of course they don't come with instruction books, certainly not the first party ones don't, but it does come with an unscratched Club Nintendo code, which is completely worthless because you can't use them anymore, but so as complete as can be, despite it's not the version I wanted, and that cost me, if I can find it, which I bet I can't now, I've lost the page, Wii U, £4.90. So, sorry, £14.90. So as this, I mean, yeah, that it's not exactly going rate, but it's not that much under it that it would be worth doing. But I did, I had to, because I did want to play this, despite the fact that since I've bought it, I haven't even had the Wii U hooked up. But I do want to play it eventually. But yeah, it's one of them things. It's like I really want the game, but I did want the better version of the game, depending on how you term better. But this will do. And to be fair, if I do ever get the Amiibo version, I will probably be able to shift this for at least what I bought it for, maybe slightly more. So who knows? Anyway, odds and sods. A UMD video? No. I don't even have a PSP, but this was 50 pence, and my thinking on it is, I mean, it's not a film I'd be interested in, because it says here from the creator of, I'm not going to pronounce that, The Legend of the Overfiend, which, if you've ever seen it, is basically an animated snuff film. I mean, it's not... The story isn't that great, and that's all it basically is. It's like animated soft porn snuff film. And if this is from the same people, then I'm not interested in it. But it was 50 pence, and I reckon if I wanted to, I could shift that for more than that and put it towards something else. So that's basically why I bought it. I probably won't buy a PSP at any point, because I know there are people that collect UMD discs. I am aware of that. I just don't want to be one of them people. But you never know. If one comes up cheap enough, I might well take the plunge, because I am seeing more and more UMD discs in charity shops and places like that. So if I wanted to, I could walk around my town centre tomorrow and probably pick up a dozen things. Whether they all work and whether they're anything worth having is a different issue. But if a working PSP with a charger comes up cheap enough, I may well take the plunge. So I might hang on to this just in case, if only to fill a gap in a future collection that I might or might not have. No, it's my logic and I'm sticking with it. I know what I mean, even if nobody else can follow it. But yeah, just something I picked up, not interested in. I know that was 50 pence because I remember where I bought it. Let me just double check. It's not on the list. That's embarrassing. Oh dear. Oh, don't tell me it was more than that, because if it... No, it was from Echo and it was 50 pence. Phew. Thank goodness for that. Right, now, 2 3DS games. Despite the fact that I still haven't managed to buy a 3DS. I did buy... But, well, here's the story, and I'm going to go into it, because if I look here... by the price, there are some asterisks. So that's to remind myself that when I come to do one of these, that there is a story behind it. So let's just check what the 3 asterisks mean, even though I'm pretty sure, yes. Right, so, I wanted to get a 3DS for somebody for Christmas. And I knew this in November, so I wanted to see basically if there was any deals on. Sorry, a new 2DS, not a 3DS, a new 2DS, the black one, with the blue trim. You know the one. Anyway, wanted to get it for somebody for Christmas, and there was a Black Friday deal on it game, and it was a new 2DS and 3 games for $129.99. So basically getting 3 games for free, because the new 2DS was $129.99 on its own. So basically got 3 games for free. So the person I bought it for, I gave them one of the games. And of course, if they see this, they will know who they are and maybe get upset with that. But, you know, tough. You got the console for nothing. Happy Christmas. So basically, I got these 2 games for my own collection, or my future 3DS collection. Although saying that, I do have a few other 3DS games, because I will definitely get one. It's just a question of when. So Bravely Second, End Layer, and Zelda Triforce Heroes. Now, I'm more looking forward to this one than I am this one. But again, they're still in the shrink wrap. There was no point in unwrapping them because I can't play them anyway. Don't have a 2DS or a 3DS. But like I say, we'll get one. So basically, these cost me nothing, depending on how you look at it. If you look at it another way, because I basically paid for a console which I currently don't have, it cost me £130. If you look at it the other way, giving somebody a nice £130 gift, I got 2 games out of it for free. So it depends on how you look at it as to whether they cost me £130 or nothing. So, where did we get to? Yes. Now, this is another one with a little story behind it. I'll give that there. So I went to a wedding recently where I was best man, and obviously had to dress up nice. So that involved, you know, tie, pocket, cufflinks, blah, 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 blah. And so I spotted a set of cufflinks, and I thought, shall I wear these? You know, I did think, oh well, I'll wear these because it'll give everything a bit of personality. But I thought I was going a bit over the top with the stuff that I was wearing anyway. This would just be lily gilding, so I decided not to wear them. And it's these. It's PlayStation Symbols cufflinks, which is these, and I bought these in game. Because they were basically throwing them out at this point. They were in the bargain bin. And how much did I pay for them? I paid, not on the list. So anyway, I didn't pay any more than a couple of pounds for these. But here's the thing. I first saw these in game not too long ago, maybe about a year ago. And I was sure one of the cufflinks was the buttons and one of the cufflinks was the D-pad. These two both seem to be the buttons. Now, if anyone knows about these sorts of things, which I'm imagining not many people do, I can't imagine there's many people collect crap like this, although I could be surprised. Yeah, are they supposed to be like that, or have I got some sort of mixed up set, or you know, is there a set that was supposed to come like this? Because I always thought these things came with one D-pad and one set of buttons, you know, on the different cufflinks. So there's a thing for anyone in the comments to answer. Is this a real set, or is this something that they've thrown together because they've lost one from 2 other sets or whatever? But anyway, I don't know how much they were, but it wasn't more than a couple of quid, otherwise I wouldn't have bought them. Anyway, couple of other things while we're on the handhelds. 2 Game Gear games. Lemmings on the Sega Game Gear, which I paid lost it again. Bugger, I should really keep track of these. Yes, I paid £1 for this. And Columns on the Sega Game Gear as well, which the box isn't in good condition, but all the inserts are in here. I'm not going to take them all out now because they are a bit fiddly. It's them horrible cheapo plastic things that are in here, so I'm not going to fiddle about. There's instruction books and everything in here. I paid £1 for each of these from Echo again, and they weren't actually on the shelf. They were sat on the counter, and the lady was going through them, and I just sort of basically said, oh, are they for sale? Oh, I'll have them. You know, one of them she'd already priced up, the other one she hadn't got round to. So she gave me both of them for £2. They were, you know, she was going to price them up at £1 each anyway. But yeah, so I got in there just at the right time because I think they wouldn't have sat on the shelf very long. There's a lot of Sega collectors around here, which I've noticed, because if stuff goes up on the local selling pages and things like that, if it's Sega stuff, it doesn't hang around long, it's gone. So there must be, I don't know any of them, but there must be a lot of Sega collectors in the area. So anyway, I don't have a Game Gear, so either I will have to get one, or what's more likely is I will probably buy some, because I think there is a Hyperkin adapter that you can play. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. I think there is an adapter where you can play Game Gear games on a Mega Drive. So I might well invest in one of them, although is it worth it for 2 games? I might just sell them, if I'm honest. And again, use the money to buy something I actually want, which seems like the better solution, but you don't know. I might want to give them a try before I do. But yeah, I don't have a Game Gear, so I can't test if they're working, but they are. All the stuff that's meant to be in there is in there. For £1 each, that's not too bad. Right. Okay, let's move on. So right, let's move on, and again, some more charity shop pickups, again from Echo, and these weren't even 50p each. These were 50p for all 3, and how could I go wrong with that? And that was Super Buster Move. Now, I have already got this, but the one that I've got, see, it's one of the worst covers you've ever seen, because it doesn't really, you know, the gameplay stuff is in the sunglasses there, but it just looks really weird. No, like I say, I have already got this, but the one I bought came from a different charity shop, where they decided to cover the whole bloody thing in marker pen, which I wasn't keen on, although I did manage to get most of it off. You can still see, because I know it's there, I know where to look, and if the light's right, you can still see where it was. So that's the thing with marker pen. You can get it off so that at a cursory glance nobody will notice, but if you know it's there, you'll still see it. So yeah, Super Buster Move, Super Buster Move 2, which is pretty much more of the same. And one that I did actually have on my wish list for a long time and never found a copy of, Aqua Wetrix 2, which is a fantastic little puzzle game where you have to make things, you have to sort of make hills and rain, and I can't really explain how it works, but it is really, really fun. So yeah, I got that, and all 3 of them were 50p, not each, 50p for all 3 in Echo. So that was fantastic. I think I caught the guy that works there on a bad day, and he didn't really know, they hadn't been priced up. He didn't really know what to do, and he just sort of went 50p, and I left the shop without too much argument. But then, you know, that's the breaks. Right, and the last one is Gran Turismo 3. Now, nothing special about Gran Turismo 3. This is the standard version of Gran Turismo 3. But I do have 2 other versions of this. One of which is the Platinum version, and one of which is the not for resale version, which came bundled with the Gran Turismo 3 PlayStation 2 console. I don't have that variant of the console, but I found the game elsewhere, and it was the not for resale version, whereas this is the original non-platinum version, which is the one of the 3 that I didn't have. Now, I don't really care about the fact that I didn't have it, and I will probably, you know, eventually when I come round to getting rid of the stuff that I genuinely don't need, which is coming soon, I just have to make the effort to do it. Then I will probably keep this one. But where are we? How much did I pay for this? That was again from Echo, and that was 50p. So you know, who cares? I probably will only get 50p back when I sell it, but you know, that's how it goes. Right, where are we? I've got right. So I'm just going to do I'll do Wii stuff, then PlayStation 4 stuff, and then everything else, which is more special. So yeah, you'll just have to hang on for that. God, this is getting long. What are we now? See, 17 minutes into the second part, plus the 34. Yeah, so we're getting on for nearly an hour now, I suppose. So yeah, that's getting on for too long. Right, so on to some Wii games, and I'm just going to work out what order I'm doing these. Right, okay, I'll do them in this order. So On the bones, Mario Sports Mix, which apparently is quite good. I tested some of these and not others, and there's a reason behind that, and I will go into that. So Mario Sports Mix, if I can be after finding where I got it and how much I paid. That was 50 pence again from Echo. Echo is actually, it's one of them shops. There's not many of them about, and I think they're only really in the southeast. But they say their games are so reasonably priced that it's worth going. Emergency Heroes on the Wii. I can't find where right. That came from the Salvation Army, along with Tiger Woods PGA Tour, and I paid £1 for both of them, so 50 pence each. Sports Island came from Echo, and again that was 50 pence, and another Buster Move game, but this one does up to 8 players, so I think that's fine. And that again was 50 pence from Echo. Now, here's a funny one. Before I went into the Salvation Army and found the 2 games that I said there, I did go in a couple of weeks ago, and they had a in-box Nintendo Wii sat there, and it was priced up at $9.99, which isn't much. And it came with all the stuff, 2 controllers, 2 nunchucks, and yeah. So the only thing that was basically missing was the booklets from inside the box and the sort of cardboard inserts, the 2 trays that come in there. But everything else was there. All the hardware was there, basically, and that was $9.99. And so I went up to the counter and I said, "Oh, is this complete?" You know, because it was all sealed up. She says, "Yeah, this is what's in it." Blah blah blah. I says, "Well, there's some accessories in there that in the basket next to it, like so they keep all the sort of gubbins, you know, along with the sort of fake golf clubs that go on the Wiimotes and things like that. I wasn't interested in that, but there were some official Mario Kart steering wheels in there, you know, with the blue thing on the back." I said, "How much are the things?" She says, just pick a couple of things you want and I'll throw them in. All right, okay. So I picked up 3 Mario Kart steering wheels. So she threw that in with the price. And she says, we've got some games over there for it. If you want to pick a couple off the shelf, then you can. And we'll just call it a tenner for the lot. Bearing in mind the console was priced up at $9.99, so I'm basically at this point getting now 2 games and 3 Mario Kart steering wheels for a penny. So that's fine. And what I picked up basically was dogs and cats. Now I know these aren't the best of games, but at least I'd heard of them, which was more than could be said for the rest of the stuff that was on their shelf that day. So I just picked up these. She said grab a couple, so I did. Dogs and cats. That seemed fair. Then, when I brought the console home to test it, and you know everything works spot on exactly as it should, it turns out that in the console's drive was Just Dance 4. Now I have got no interest in Just Dance 4. In fact, I don't even think there's any songs on here that I know, but it does say special edition on it, so that probably means nothing, because I think all copies of Just Dance 4 are special edition. I don't think there is a standard edition. Also, you know, I might just chuck this in a bundle at some point and flog it with some other Wii stuff that I don't want, because I just can't see it being worth it tracking down a box or a manual or the artwork so that I can have this in the Wii collection, because I'm not interested in Just Dance 4. Although I think one of the Just Dances on the Wii has a obscure Europop record from the 90s as one of the songs, which you would never expect to be in a sort of popular dance routine thing, which is Crucified by Army of Lovers, is apparently on one of the Wii Just Dances. And I would be interested to find out if it's this one, because it's one of them songs that nobody's ever heard of it until they hear it, and then they go, oh yeah, I vaguely remember that. Yeah, that was, it's one of them songs that nobody's ever heard of till you play it to them, and they go, oh yeah. But yeah, if that's on this one, then I will keep it, because that's worth it for the camp value alone. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, YouTube Crucified by Army of Lovers, for 90s Europop, it is. I mean, 90s Europop can be eccentric most of the time, but this is to the extremes of eccentric. It really is. Well worth it. Anyway. So a couple of days ago now, I'm back in the Salvation Army, and this thing turns up. We Speak. What's this? Which is exactly what I said. I said I'm vaguely aware of this, but there were two things that I thought about this. And number one, I thought it was only released in North America, and number two, I thought it was only released as a bundle pack with an Animal Crossing game in North America. I had no idea this was released in the UK, and I had no idea it was released on its own. And as far as I can tell, and bearing in mind I haven't tested this yet because this box is completely sealed, whoever owned this has never even opened it. I mean, and it's not like been sealed by the charity shop. This is still Nintendo sticker sealed. And I paid $1.99 for this, and I thought, well, for $1.99 it's got to be worth it, even if I just end up flogging it on. But apparently it works with about a dozen games, one of which being an Animal Crossing game. Unfortunately, it is only going to be any use to a collector, because all the games that this works with apparently need an active Wii internet connection, which, as the Wii servers are no longer up and running, this thing will never work again. So basically it is just a collector's piece at this point. But for $1.99, I fair play. I will probably be able to get rid of, again, not all of this stuff I keep. Only stuff I specifically want I really keep. But when I'm in charity shops, I tend to pick up anything that looks halfway decent, because with the intention that I'm going to use that as sort of trade fodder, so that I can, get the stuff I want without spending too much of my own money. I think everyone does that. I don't think there's any meanness about it. But yeah, so that's an interesting thing. I suppose, aside from the fact that it is basically a redundant piece of hardware that you will never get any use of, even if you do open it. So I'm probably going to leave that sealed. So yeah, $1.99 that was, and worth every penny as far as I'm concerned, because I'll probably be able to sell it for more than that. Right, so on to PlayStation 4. And I haven't bought an awful lot of PlayStation 4 stuff. Pretty much just what I want to play at some point in the future, or anything that sort of really looks like it will be good. So, if it's anything I haven't heard of, it's stuff that, did look really good. Or I couldn't say no to. So, the first thing is Kingdom Hearts 1.5, 2.5 Remix. Now, obviously, I already have both of these games, but this is on the PlayStation 4, and I figure if I'm going to play through them again at any point, I might as well just do that. So I've got both of these on the PlayStation 2. I've got both of them on the PlayStation 3. I think I have. And now I've got them again on the PlayStation 4. But, there is... I saw it earlier, there is an asterisk by the price, which means it comes with a little story attached as to the reason why I bought it in the first place. Now, I paid $10.99 for this with an asterisk, and the asterisk is I had a £5 off voucher. Presumably that's for Argos, which is where I bought it. So I can't remember exactly what happened, but I assume it went along the lines of, I have a £5 off voucher for Argos, what can I buy using it? And I basically saw that this was the only thing that I wanted. So that's obviously why I've bought it. So yeah, $10.99, so yeah. Bendy and the Ink Machine. Now I bought this recently, and I know I bought it on Amazon. But how much did I pay for it is the question. I'm just going to keep holding it up like this, woo, till I can be after finding the price. Huh. Oh, there it is. Okay. Oh, hang on. That's got another asterisk by it. So what was the other thing? Right, okay. So I bought Bendy and the Ink Machine and Shantae, the Half Genie Hero Ultimate Edition. And according to this, I paid nothing for it because I had an Amazon voucher to use up. Okay, so I paid nothing for these. So, yeah, brilliant days. And this is the Day 1 edition that includes the official art book and a soundtrack CD. Okay, right. South Park, The Fractured Butthole, Deluxe Edition. And Deluxe Edition basically means it comes with some postcards in a cardboard case. Now, I haven't got around to playing this, but I will eventually. And I'm pretty sure the code is in here for the Stick of Truth. But, you know, I've already played through that game. I played that game to death. So I probably won't need it. And to be honest, the one I do want to buy another version of the Stick of Truth, but I want to buy the US version, which is going up and up in price every day. So I'll probably never get round to buying it. But this cost me £10. Oh, and the same day I bought Saints Row 4 for the PlayStation 4, but that's not here. In fact, I'm not sure where that is, but it's definitely not here. So that's obviously something that's been lost in the rearrangement. Not lost, but temporarily misplaced. And that also cost me a tenner. So £10 for that. That's not too bad. Now, Assault Suit Lanos. This is one that I knew I wanted to buy for a long time, and I found it eventually somewhere. It's not on the list. It must be. I definitely remember buying it. Right, okay. I got this on eBay for $4.99. Now, if you don't know what this game is, it's called Target Earth or Project Earth or something like that, and I'm pretty sure it didn't. I'm pretty sure it's a US only Mega Drive game. This is basically an updated version of it. So. But seemingly it's hard as nails. So when I do finally get around to playing it, I might not be playing it very long because I'm not very good at hard as nails games. Grand Theft Auto 5 I bought and still haven't got around to playing, as you can see. And you know, pretty much everyone except me had Grand Theft Auto 5 on the PlayStation 4. So I thought, hell, I may as well. I quite liked the game. And that was $17.99 in Sainsbury's. So, brilliant. Kingdom New Lands was a... not limited run. What's the other... was it a limited run? Might well have been a limited run. I can't find it now on the bloody thing. No, this I must have bought this previous to last September, so it's not going to be on the list how much I paid for it. But I think, well, it was a limited run because it's got the LR code on it, and this is supposed to be pretty fun. But again, it's finding the time for these things. Mortal Kombat XL I bought, and this is the one that includes all the DLC on the disc. This is why you shouldn't buy Mortal Kombat when it first comes out. I am still trying to find a reasonably priced copy of the XL version of Mortal Kombat 9. and I can't. I've got the original. I want the one with Freddy Krueger in it and things like that. Can't find one. Not at a reasonable price anyway. But this was £18 on Amazon, and I bought this basically because the new Mortal Kombat 11, had only just come out that week, and this was basically on a deal. So £18 for Mortal Kombat XL. And in the same purchase, I bought Flashback, the 25th Anniversary Collector's Edition. And I wasn't sure this was actually going to be available in a physical edition, but there it is. Yeah. So, who doesn't like Flashback? Yeah. And this is in English and French. In fact, oh no, it's in 5 languages. So, anyway, what did I pay for that? $16.47. Just can't say fairer than that. Mind you, it's for a 30-year-old game. But yeah, can't say fairer than that. So that's the PlayStation 4 stuff with. Yes, right. I'm probably going to take another little break. This is going to end up being a very long video, I'm afraid. I hope everyone stays till the end. But like I did say at the beginning, there's an awful lot of stuff to get through, so I'll try and be as quick as possible. Right, so one jump cut later, and you can see just off the side here there is a massive tote box that has some, well, it's basically full of Mega Drive stuff. Now, some of this stuff I've already gone through when I did the there was a video I did, what was it, middle of last year, where, as way of an experiment, could I buy job lots of, well, basically bulk lots of Mega Drive stuff on eBay and then resell it on eBay individually in order to make my money back and keep a few things for the collection. If you haven't seen that video, I'll sum it up as this. No, you can't really. Because I am still stuck with most of the stuff. Now, had I sold most of the stuff, then you probably can, but I didn't. I'm still stuck with quite a bit of it. But I've added quite a few things to the Mega Drive set. So some stuff I've already showed off, so I won't go through that again. Some stuff I showed off from the London Games Fair, or London Games Market, whatever you want to call it, in October. So that would be 4 things that I showed there, which again, most of which I think I well overpaid for. But then there's been some other stuff turned up. So let me just dig it out. I'll probably cut the bits where I'm actually digging it out, but there is a few choice things in here which I did want to go through for definite, so I will just dig them out as I go. Right, so as it turns out, it doesn't matter what I'm trying to do tonight, it's just not kind of working out. I've just had to go and take all the videos off my phone because it was basically full, so I've had to take a little longer a break than I was hoping to in order to get this finished. So much so, in fact, that the cat has now deserted me. She got bored and went away. So I'm trying to remember where I got to. I think I'd just done the 4-game bundle and thrown it back in there. So yeah, just to recap, that was not that one. Sonic 2, Tailspin, World of Illusion and Castle of Illusion, all cartridge only, all work, all good. And that came to, I've now bloody lost it, of course I have, because that's the kind of thing I do. £9 and 2 pence, so that was fine. Micro Machines Turbo Tournament 2, cartridge only, £5.60. And this is the J-Kart version with the 2 controller ports. And then, like I say, like I may have said, like I'm saying now, I then got the one in an auction that was running at the same time. Micro Machines 2 Turbo Tournament, exactly the same game with the 2 cartridge ports on the cartridge, but a complete in-box version, even with the little invite cards to a tournament. To a Micro Machines 2 tournament. It doesn't say where it is. So I don't know. I don't know what that's for. Maybe some sort of in-store promotion, but they're definitely in there. So I don't know. But I haven't got time to go into that right now. Let's just get on with this because now I'm beginning to get quite tired. So, what's next? Oh, and then on eBay as well, if I can be after finding it. Everything's kind of all over the place. No. There's Wiz and Liz, which, if you have a Mega Drive, is a fantastic game. I'm pretty sure it didn't come on any other system. Maybe an Amiga, as it's made by Psygnosis, and they did a lot of Amiga stuff, so maybe. I'm not sure. I don't know the Amiga library that well. Anyway, boxed and complete, aside from the fact it's missing the hand tag, hang tag, pronounce things properly. £8.50, which for Wiz and Liz is a bargain. And in fact, whoever's previously owned this has left all the recipes for different things that happen. So, 75 extra stars, 5,000 points, all the different fruit combinations. Now, if you haven't played it, fruit combinations isn't going to mean anything to you, but trust me, it is a big part of the game. So it's handy they've left their cheat sheets in there for me. Great. But it really is a fun game, especially multiplayer. 2 players is fantastic fun. Right, so I've got another load of Sega Mega Drive stuff here on the list, all with zeros by it and all with asterisks by the zeros. And what that means is, had a £56 CEX voucher because I traded in a 5TB hard disk that I didn't need anymore not because I didn't need it, because I did actually buy a replacement for it, but the company that made it, I believe it's a Hitachi drive, I just don't trust anymore because I've had a couple of them fail on me in the last couple of years, and I thought, right, I'm just going to go Western Digital because, touch wood, I've never actually had a Western Digital drive fail ever. So I'm just going to buy them. They're slightly more expensive, but I'm just going to buy them because I can't deal with unreliable hard disks, especially when they tend to go at the worst possible moment. So anyway, traded in a 5TB Hitachi drive and got a £56 voucher. So with that £56 voucher, I bought Quackshot cartridge only, which is a fantastic game. Again, I thoroughly recommend it. I bought... Where is it? Oh, don't tell me it's that. Yeah. Virtua Racing, boxed and complete. And this is a massive cartridge because it contains the SVP1 chip, which I believe is only in this game. In fact, I know it's only in this game because I never did it again. Bearing in mind when this game came out, it was £100, which is a lot of money. Bearing in mind it came out in 1995, 94, 95. I think 95. It might have just been 94. I suppose I could look on the box. No, I can't see it at a glance, and I can't be bothered looking for it because the light's not brilliant in here. I'm going to hurt my eyes. But yeah, so basically boxed but with no instructions, which is a shame, but that's what happens. I think a mint condition one was too much, and I just wasn't going to pay for it, so I just plumbed for the boxed one instead. Then I got. I should have put these in some sort of order. Then I could. Yeah, Megalomania in the box. Without instructions again, but the funny thing is, I'm pretty sure I do have an instruction book for this somewhere because I used to own it and I don't know what happened to the cartridge, but I'm pretty sure I do have an instruction book. for this somewhere. Probably not in the best condition, but there you are. And Megalomania is another one of them games. It was also on the Amiga, but it is fantastic on the Mega Drive. The music, the sound effects, everything just works so much better on the Mega Drive. Well, in my opinion. It also came out for the Super Nintendo, but that is very much... graphically it looks better, but it's not actually a bit. The sound is just all off. It's not as good in my opinion. Less personality, put it that way. Anyway, then another one I bought was Rolo to the Rescue, which again is a fantastic game. It's aimed at kids, but it really is a good game. You play Rolo and you have to rescue all your friends in different levels with a map screen. It is an EA game, which for the time was fine, because nobody had a problem with EA in the 90s. It was only later on where they become a bit of a... Well, we know what they are. And another EA game, General Chaos, which works with the EA Sports 4-player adapter, which again is a fantastic game. It's all stuff that was on my sort of Mega Drive wish list that I've since just bought. And with the last of my voucher, I bought 2 3-button controllers, not pictured, but they do work. I think one of them was the... one was an original, like the white start button one, and one was the red start button one. So 2 3-button controllers. So I've now got 6 3-button Mega Drive controllers and no 6-button controllers, which is odd, but you know, that's the way it is. So yeah, that was what I bought, and all of that I just showed there cost me nothing because I had a voucher, although you could argue again it cost me a hard drive, but it was a hard drive I just wanted to get rid of anyway, so that's fine. Then there was some other Mega Drives. Yes, the next thing I bought was one that popped up on eBay, and it's this Pulseman. Now, obviously, by the look of this case, if you know anything about the Mega Drive, this is not a legitimate copy of Pulseman. This is a repro. Because the original game, even the Japanese version, which is the only way you could get it, a Japanese cartridge won't work in a PAL system. It just won't fit. And B, this was so much cheaper. I paid $23.49 for this, and although it's a repro, it is a difficult game. This is like, how do you explain it? See, I haven't actually. I did obviously try this cartridge to make sure it works, but the only time I've ever played the game is on an emulator, and it's like Mega Man Plus hard. It's just stupidly, insanely hard. One of them games that could probably only work in Japan, but it's nice to have anyway, even though it's a repro. So that's there. What's next? Come on, we must be getting towards the end of the Mega Drive stuff. Ooh. Yeah, no, hang on. Yeah, that's pretty much it. There's one last thing. Let's get all the normal stuff out of the way before I do that. Right, okay. The last thing I bought, cartridge only, Sonic 3 on eBay, and I paid $12.29 for it, which I think is quite reasonable. This game goes anywhere between a tenner and 20 quid for a cartridge only, more if you want a box copy with instructions. But again, this is another one that I used to have. I don't know what happened to the cartridge. I think a load of cartridge got left at the old house, and there's no, I won't be able to get them back if that's the case, because I think I had a load of, so all my boxes were in storage basically, and all my cartridges were in a tape case somewhere, and I think the tape case got misplaced or lost or whatever happened to it. I don't have them anymore, but I do still have a lot of the instruction books and the boxes, so this is one that I should be able to have a complete copy of now that I've got the cartridge. I'll just have to go through all the stuff that I've still got in storage and see what's there. But yeah, what did I pay for that? $12.29. And then the last Mega Drive thing I wanted to show you is a thing, and this is I think this is a completely unique item. Now, I ordered this not really knowing what it was, and it's not really my sort of thing. It's sort of electronica, drum and bassy type stuff. But this is it. It's an album called Remute by Techno Optimistic, and it is an album on a Mega Drive cartridge. And I've tried this, and it sounds okay. It's not really my cup of tea, but I had to have this because it's a studio album. I've got a download code if I want to listen to the original, but this sounds absolutely fantastic through the Mega Drive speakers, through the Mega Drive sound chip. It does sound really, really good, even though it's not really my sort of thing. It does sound really good, and I think this is a unique item. Now, I am quite annoyed because I thought it would come in at least a Mega Drive style box, but it didn't. It literally came as cartridge only. But to be fair, this was off a website called Bandcamp.com, and what they do, if you don't know, it's basically where you can buy independent music. So if you like an independent artist, quite a lot of them sell their stuff through Bandcamp.com. Some people sell stuff on Amazon as well and things like that, but Bandcamp.com, most of the money goes to the artist. Their commission is far lower than places like Amazon and things like that. So it's actually quite a good thing for music, but that's where I had to get this, and it is Remute by Techno Optimistic, or Techno Optimistic by Remute. I'm not sure which way round is the artist and what's the name of the album, and it is an album on a Mega Drive cartridge, and that cost me £34.04, which, it sounds like an odd number, I'll grant you, but bearing in mind I had to buy it in euros and then it was converted to pounds because he's a German guy, I believe. But yeah, so this is a fantastic thing to have. It doesn't really count as a game, but it is something, that not many people will have it. Look, put it that way. How many people do you know that put their album on a Mega Drive cartridge? There you are, and that's the last of the Mega Drive stuff, and I've got one more lot of stuff to go through. Once obviously I'm going to jump cut while I've put all this stuff away. I've got one last lot of stuff to go through, and then the video is coming to an end because I'm getting very tired now. It's 10 to 2 after all the faffing about, 10 to 2 in the morning, and now I just really sort of want to finish it and get on, and I'm sure you want to do the same. So yeah, I'll clean this up and then I'll be back. There's a story behind this last lot, and now if you go back, if you want to, that is, or if you did watch it originally, I did a series called Collect, Emulate, Avoid, which again I'm still in the process of making some of the last videos that I'm going to do on that. One of the things I covered was the PC Engine, so you know what's going to be coming up now. So basically, I advised against, pretty much I think the end of that video, I advised against bothering to collect for stuff like the TurboGrafx or the PC Engine because it's just too expensive, it's too difficult, blah 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 blah, especially if you live in Europe. And then what happened was, on one of the game sites, I think it was one of the Facebook ones, I could be mistaken, it might have been on a forum somewhere, I think it was one of the Facebook, well yeah, it must have been because it had loads of pictures attached. Somebody was selling a PC Engine with a load of games, and some mug bought it. Turns out that mug was me. So I now have, and I'm the proud owner of, PC Engine Core Graphics. Now, it's got some cosmetic wear and tear, but it all works. These things are built pretty well. And this is the... what's the difference with this one as opposed to the original? Well, this one has composite out, so that's not amazing, but bearing in mind the original, the white one that you get of these, only has RF out, which makes things less straightforward for playing on a modern television. this one at least has composite out, so it does actually work on a modern television, provided your modern television supports that input. Mine does. So yeah, I've now got a PC Engine Core Graphics. It came with a controller. It came with the composite out lead and a, well, I was going to say a UK power supply, but of course it's not. It's a Sega UK power supply, but it did come with it. I didn't have to go and track this down. It's basically the power supply for a Mega Drive 1, which is the same voltage as one of these. So that all works. It also came with a load of games. So let me find the ones that it came with. Right, that's all stuff on... Right, hang on. So there's this one, which is a game. There's this one, which is another game. There's this one, which is another game. I'm pretty sure that... Did I buy that one separate? Maybe. Maybe not. I can't remember. I'll work it out anyway. There's this one, which is Digital Champ. There's this one, which is a Mahjong game. You tell from the box. There's this one, which is a different game. There's this one, which is another different game. And then there's these two, which appear to be a succession of games in the same series. So that's what it came with. And that was all £120. Which, to be fair, is a bit of a steal. Because I have seen the consoles on their own go for that much without any games. In fact, I've seen them go for more than that without any games, and this is working. So, you know, if you see a PC Engine and it's going for any less than £100, you're pretty much guaranteed something's wrong with it, unless it's the original model, in which case probably don't buy it if you live in Europe, because chances are you won't be able to tune it into your television anyway. But yeah, so I was quite happy with that. So now it turns out not only am I a TurboGrafx collector, so I have to pretty much get all the games for that from the States, and any hardware I want from the States, but it now turns out that I'm also a PC Engine collector, which means that a lot of my stuff now has to come from Japan. Yeah, I do feel quite the fool, but also I feel quite happy about it as well. I'm kind of really getting into it now. Not so much with these games, because most of these I can't really play. But there is some other stuff that I have bought. Now, one of the things I bought is less of a game, more of an accessory, and it's called a Tenakoe bank. This is basically for shifting. There's an internal battery that keeps your game saves on it, and this is basically extra storage for that. So, you know, well worth it if you're going to have quite a few games, although maybe made redundant at some point in the future, and I might go into that towards the end of the video. And that was, if I can be after finding it, right, that was £10, so not too bad there. Then, what else did I get? Yes, right, hardware first. I did manage to get a PC Engine Multitap, which is the 5-player one. Now, this does not look like it's in the best condition, but I have been able to test it and it is working. So, condition aside, it does the job it's meant to do, so happy with that. Then, where are we? Bomberman, yes. Bomberman for the PC Engine. Paid I paid $17.97 for this from Japan. I paid $19.75 for Bomberman, and yeah, and these are pretty much the same as the TurboGrafx cards. Same thing, same sort of plastic wallets that, you know, all have to be cleaned because they go a bit sticky if they've been in storage. The only difference is the PC Engine stuff doesn't have the little supporting bar here. So if it's complete, it should come with one of these little squares of foam, just to hold the game in. Now, Bomberman does come with that, but if I look at another one that I've bought, which is Cyber Knight, which cost me £5.20, that didn't come with one. So what I've done is I've got this stuff, and what this is if you buy electronic components like sort of a PC graphics card or a motherboard or something like that, it will normally come with some of this anti-static foam stuff in the box, and I've just cut that into squares and using that as spacers for the games that didn't come with spacers, just to stop them rattling around. That just seemed like a really good idea. And also, when I come to sell them, there's no mistaking that this is, there is no way that this is original with the game. So it's not as if I'm tampering with it to try and add any value or anything. It's fairly obvious that this is not an original thing. I've done this just to stop the game rattling around. But yeah, Cyber Knight anyway. What did I... £5.20 I paid for that. F1 Circus... which is an F1 game, obviously. £7 I paid for that. Final Lap Twin, which, if you paid attention earlier, you'll also know that I have on the TurboGrafx. So, at least if anything, I'll be able to see if there's any notable differences between the two versions. And that was... $5.39, so not too bad. Right, so then I bought another controller, and again, these are not the easiest things to get hold of, but I did get one that colour matches the controller I already had, and that was £25, which is a lot for a controller, to be fair, but like I say, they're not easy to find. It's not as if I'm going to be able to go down the local boot sale and find one of these. So, sometimes you've got to pay a premium for these things. Then, the last game I'm going to show off, and this is pretty much the whole reason for owning a PC Engine, really, is that it's considered to be probably the best home version. Well, up until a certain point, I suppose. I mean, there's better versions now. Of Champion Edition, Street Fighter 2 Champion Edition, for the PC Engine. Now, the only thing that is wrong with this version, or this copy that I've got, everything is absolutely correct and as it should be. But, so the card and all this is in here, and then the special wallet with the double jewel case with the 2 notches cut out of it, so that's obviously original. But this came with a spine card as well, like a lot of Japanese games that came in CD cases. Now, as far as I'm aware, the normal Hue cards for PC Engines don't come with spine cards. The CD-ROM games do, but this is the exception to that rule. This is a Hue card game that also comes with a spine card, which is missing from this. But I only paid $19.99 for it, and that was from Japan, so probably about £4 or £5 of that was shipping. So, at that price I would expect something, do you know what I mean? I wouldn't expect a 100% complete version. I probably could have held out and got one for about the same price with the spine card, but to be fair, I don't really, I don't care. And if it comes to it, I will just pick up another one if one comes up at my price range, and then get rid of this one, or whatever. But because I now had Street Fighter 2, there was another accessory that I then had to buy so that I can properly play Street Fighter 2. And it is this. The PC Engine Avenue Pad 6. Now, the Avenue Pad comes in a 3-button or a 6-button variety. I don't know why anyone would want to buy the 3-button one, because the only reason for having the Avenue Pad is so that you can play Street Fighter. So you have to buy the 6-button one. And this is a reasonably well, by the standards of the time, this is a reasonably hefty pad. By today's standards, not so much. But yeah, I think the D-pad could do with being a bit bigger on one of these. But these are not easy to find at a reasonable price, and I think I've paid a reasonable price when I tell you that I paid £39 for this controller. So you can see when I say that I got the original PC Engine and a load of games for 120 quid, I'm not messing about when I say that is a deal. I mean, that really, really is a deal. Even with no box, no gear, that really is a deal. This is about the most that I would pay for it. I think 40 quid would be my limit on one of these. I think I wouldn't pay any more than that, and I would like to get a second one of these, obviously, so, you know, because Street Fighter 2 is a two-player game, you can't use this pad and then hand your mate the 2-button pad. That's not fair. That's not going to be fun. I mean, it might be funny, but it's not going to be fun. Not going to be long-term fun for a day's play. So yeah, that's that. That's everything. That's everything I've bought. And this is probably this is a surprise happiness, the PC Engine stuff. Like I say, I have now kind of become a TurboGrafx and PC Engine collector. And we'll see we'll see whether in the future that adds or takes away from my overall happiness with the hobby. But for now, I'm reasonably happy with it. Yeah. So that's about it. That's the end of the video. So as you I dropped my thing. Get off the floor, you silly thing. Right. So as usual, any questions and comments are welcome. Just before I go, I did want to mention, and I did mention this in the previous video, but I'll mention it again. Now, obviously, I'm looking for stuff that I'm going to be that basically matches up with some of this stuff that I'm looking for in the future. Now, like I say, I did mention this in the previous video. I am going to the Doncaster gaming market at the end of this month, actually, so it's the last weekend in June, and there is some certain stuff that I'm looking out for. But what I would like, if anyone watches this between now and then, is to just put something in the comments about anything that's worth doing in Doncaster, preferably retro game related, but it doesn't necessarily have to be, because I don't know anything about the place. I'm basically going in blind. Now, I could just Google stuff, but then you're only going to get the same stuff as everyone else. I mean, I'm talking about something in Doncaster that not everyone knows about, you know, like is there some backstreet retro game shop or something like that everyone isn't privy to, you know, that sort of thing. You know, where's a nice place to go and eat, that sort of thing, because I don't know Doncaster, but I am going up for the whole weekend, like Friday and Monday. But there are certain things that I'm looking out for retro game collecting, and I'm hoping. So I don't often do this, but I'm going to do it this time because of what I've just said, and because of you know, everything else that I'm showing, like stuff that I basically want to get. Hopefully, some, all or none of this stuff I will get by the next pickups video. So I'm obviously on the lookout for TurboGrafx pads. I want at least another 3 of them. Another couple of PC Engine pads would be handy. I definitely need another PC Engine Avenue 6 pad. So other hardware that I'm looking out for basically between now and the next pickup videos. One of the main places I'm going to be looking for it is at Doncaster, although I'm not holding out that much hope for some of this stuff, because you don't even see most of it on eBay that often. But I'm hoping at a retro games fair that should be a bit more specialised, but I have been disappointed before. So I am looking for a Super Game Boy 2. I'm looking for a SGB Commander Super Nintendo pad to go along with it. I'm looking for more Sufami Turbo games. I'm looking for more TurboGrafx games and PC Engine games. Mega Drive stuff I'm pretty much done with. Aside from, I want to get a copy of Micro Machines 96 with the extra controller pins. I want to get a copy of Micro Machines Military with the extra controller pins. And then I want to get a copy of Gauntlet 4. And then after that, I'm pretty much done with what I want on the Mega Drive. And in fact, I'm going to be thinning down some of the stuff that I do have. I probably will then invest in an EverDrive of some kind, probably the X5 or the X7, because if I do then decide to buy one of the clone consoles, apparently the X5 and X7 work with them, whereas the earlier versions don't. But that's probably what I'll do. PlayStation 1, I'm pretty much finished with what I want. I only really want a handful of games on that I will play. And mostly that's done through the PS3 when it's plugged in. But one thing I am looking for is the official PlayStation Magazine demo discs, specifically those with the Net Your Rose demos on them, because some of them are quite fun, and you're not going to get them anywhere else. You know, you're not going to get them online or anything like that. It's just not going to happen. So what else am I looking for? Hardware-wise, I want an Epic Mickey 2 Oswald's clicker controller for the Nintendo Wii, because you can't find them anywhere. I want an official Sony PlayStation 3 memory card adapter. Now, I do have the... Is it the Mad Catz or the Blaze one? I've got an unofficial one, but I want the official one because then I don't need to use official Sony PS2 cards in it. Because the thing is, the official PlayStation 3 memory card adapter will take any PlayStation 2 memory card. The third-party ones, for some reason, will only take official Sony cards, which is really, really irritating because I haven't got many of them. Some DS download station carts would be handy, but again, unlikely to find any of them. Some Wii Motion Plus controllers, I want a few of them. And then the big hardware stuff that I'm really looking for. I'd quite like a PS Vita, but I'd quite like to be able to buy one that already has quite a big card in it, because them cards are really expensive, so I'd quite like to get one as a bundle package. I still want a Nintendo new 2DS XL. I'll probably just buy a new one of them, to be honest, out of Argos or something when I get round to it. I wouldn't mind a Mega SG or a Super NT from Analog, but again, they're very expensive. But, you know, if I am going to buy an HDMI console at one point, it's going to be one or the other of them. And now that I've got a PC Engine, I feel it would be foolish to bother trying to track down a working PC Engine CD drive and then try and buy the game, so I might not bother. I'm seriously considering buying the Terra Onion Super SD System 3, because then I can just pretty much play what I want. I'll probably still buy HuCard games for it, but, you know, I'd quite like to have a go at some of the CD stuff, but not to the point where I'd actually want to buy a CD drive to play them. So I'm seriously thinking of that. But I'm hoping a lot of that stuff I've just mentioned is going to be knocked off the list by the next time I do one of these. Which might be a while off, to be fair, because, again, I've pretty much spent in 8 months what I budgeted for a year. So, yeah, that might be an issue that comes back to bite me. So yeah, that's it. That's the end of the pickups video. I hope everyone enjoyed everything. I hope you stuck to the end. If you didn't, I don't blame you. It's very, very long. We're probably getting on for... Well, I mean, according to my clock, it's 2 hours at this point. By the time I edit it down, it might be 1 hour and 40 minutes, something like that. Likelihood is, I mean, normally I upload stuff on YouTube at 1080p. Likelihood is I'm going to have to upload this at 720, because otherwise I'll be skating over the limit on size for the video. So YouTube just won't accept it. Or alternatively do it in 2 parts and try and somehow stitch them together, but that's not as straightforward as it used to be perfectly honest, and I don't fancy going to the extra work, so this might be a 720p video, because it's far too long. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Now, so I'm going to do an end card for this video. I haven't done one for the last couple that I've uploaded, but I'm going to do for this one. So There's a subscribe thing down here, and then up here there are some other videos that you might like. And you know, don't forget to Twitter, subscribe, blah blah blah, comment, all the rest of it. I've been the Pickled Onion Knight, and I will see you in another video.